ball. 400 metres out in the cup now. Istadad takes the lead. Juggler down the outside. Octagonal is joining him with a good run.
And it was about the last 20 metres he just lifted and just got there on the line. And that's the type of horse he was. It was just sensational.
With 100 metres left to go. Gold sitting along the inside, finishing very fast. Octagonal diving at them. Here's a great go as they hit the line. Oh, very tight Octagonal. Gold City just ahead of them.
Certainly one of the most memorable Melbourne Cups, Australian Cups, I should say, that I've ever seen, the year that Octagonal won and brought the house down here at Flemington. Now, correct weight is there. Weight is right after the running of race 6 on the card, the Schweppes 1100. So they've had a look at the videotape and they have determined that that horse, number 8 Joker's Wild, did get a fair start. So with correct weight, here are the dividends. And if you back Rory's Power, then you'll be pretty happy. $35 and $8.80 on Super Tab. Ruthless Tycoon second, $7.50. Third Cash Crop, $2.40. The Trifecta paid $9,463 even. The Quinella, $543.80. And the Exacta, $1,064.80. Correct weight is there. Numbers 9, 5, 11 after race 6 on the card. Well, as we said earlier, Reduce's Choice unfortunately wasn't a runner in the Cadbury Guineas early on today, and we suspected that it might have been because the track was just simply too hard. But Gerard Whateley has some very important information for us. Gerard?
Yes, just some breaking news, Pete. It appears there was a track accident at Caulfield this morning about 4 a.m. in the tunnel there. The track jockey, Georgieva Gora, was taken to hospital, and it does appear that it did involve Reduce's Choice. I understand the horse was bitten by another horse and may have kicked Georgie, leading him to be in hospital. So all's not well in the Reduce camp. And as we know, Pete, this horse is about to go to stud worth about $10 million. It wouldn't take much for this horse to be retired. So we'll just keep a watching brief on that for the rest of the day.
Yes, you wouldn't think so. Thanks very much to Gerard Whateley with that late breaking news about Reduce's Choice, and that's certainly something that we'll be keeping an eye out for over the next 24 to 48 hours, and you'll hear the latest information on 10 News. Well, $6.60 at present, and it's tightened up a little bit already. Arena's $6.20. Aerosmith has remained constant at $11.10. Oliver Twist number 5, the favourite, at $6. It has also remained constant. 26 Arimathea, $7.60 Zapor, $50 for Streak, and 21 for the Hind, and both of those horses have had some support at good odds. $29 for Morphy with Royal Voyage out. Collins Street, 37. In a flurry, $7.50 has come in 10 cents. Labille, $17.30. Noir here, $23.90, and Crawl at $13.60. Now, I've just heard a message from the public address with Greg Miles that it seems as though the stewards may still be looking at the videotape of that horse, Joker's Wild. So if you have backed it, hang on to your tickets. All may be not lost yet, but we will indeed bring you up to date with that as soon as we do get any information. All right, let's head down to the betting ring now. Mark Aston, what's happening before the AAMI Australian Cup?
Now, Oliver Twist.
Well, there you go. Now, see, that is a first. That is actually the first time Mark Aston has ever been quiet in his life, and it took a microphone fault to do it. I'm not sure whether I hope that we do actually get the microphone. Damn, they've just told me it's back working again. Mark, speak.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Yes, I know that was probably the most pleasant 10 seconds of your life.
Absolutely delightful.
Oliver Twist is the favourite, has opened up pretty short, around about each way odds, but still, as you can gather, I'll be very careful with this mic. It is pretty good value, pretty good value. The mic is certainly not good value. Intergaze and Arena are in the market, and so is Aerosmith, but the favourite is Oliver Twist. I'll get this microphone fixed.
I think it's probably a very good idea that you do, and while you're doing that, we'll take a break. We've got a lot more action to come. Hope you're enjoying it. Around Australia on Network 10, you're watching Day 2 of the Australian Cup Carnival 2000.
First of our features is behind us, a 15th name having been added to the honour roll as a winner of the Cadbury Guineas. But the big one of the day is still in front of us. Coming up soon, some of our finest weight for age gallopers battle it out for $1.25 million and the title of AAMI Australian Cup Champion. They've done so here at Flemington since 1863. The honour roll in recent years has included the greats of the turf, such as Octagonal, Let's Elope, Better Loosen Up and Bow Road. Who'll join them today? You'll find out shortly on Network 10's live Australia-wide telecast from the home of the Melbourne Cup.
Further back into Gaze running fourth, then Istedad fifth on the outside, a length and a half to Spying. They're followed by Thackeray, a length further back in the race, a length around Summerbow.
Gaze was actually trying to get out from a pocket and he bumped me quite badly and I bumped him back in so that he could get that clear shot at me.
For the out 3 deep and 2 to our Unicorn last of all. 800 metres to go, given a breather. Bazille Bay by 4.5 to 5 lengths. Second the Message, a length further back, then came on the inside Dance. They're followed by Istedad up fourth, into Gaze running fifth.
It was a case of not hitting him too much with the whip until the last bit because he can get a bit sour if you over-punish him.
3 lengths in front of Istedad and the Message. They're under a bit of pressure down the middle of Spying, followed by Thackeray, Summerbow and into Gaze back to the inside. Bazille Bay is flat of the 300. Into Gaze is off the fence and Istedad right around. And
a little bit further on down towards the 200, Gaze got out and was running strongly towards me. But all credit is to Dad, he just doggedly fought his way right to the line and held on that slender margin.
Into Gaze, they hit it. Oh, Dead Heat couldn't separate them. Istedad and into Gaze. Dead Heat for line.
Istedad was quite good winning here and he improved and came out and it was a tougher race and he went out and won that Australia Cup. It was probably his best win in his career.
And there's the result of the photo. Number 4, Istedad has got it. Narrowly.
Yes, what a great day it was for Greg Childs. Here's a lady who knows all about great days here at Flemington, the part owner of Rogan Josh, the Melbourne Cup winner, Wendy Green. Nice to see you again.
Oh, it's nice to see you too, Peter. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm a bit warm, but gee, it's a great day's racing and it must be terrific for you to come back.
It's just wonderful to be back at Flemington. I don't think it matters when you come to Flemington. It's always a really special day, and to be here today is just another highlight in the ongoing fairy tale of Rogan Josh.
We were at a function together on Saturday night and I asked you the question, I'll ask you again. When we last stood here, remember when we stood here about an hour and a half after the Melbourne Cup and you were holding the trophy and you said, I can't believe this. Can you believe it yet?
I can't believe I was standing here and I can't believe that I stood here, but I do think that I remember talking to you, and it's good to be back.
What about the memories of this famous day? And here's this wonderful horse riding to the line. Can you remember what you were thinking in the last 200 metres?
I can remember what I was saying, but I don't think I should say it today.
Well, it obviously worked. And look at those scenes of joy that we all witnessed. And not only all of us here in Australia, but around the world now. So many hundreds of millions of people watching this race. Must have just been an indescribable moment. You're pretty good with words, but that must be indescribable.
I still haven't found the words to talk about it, and it's really a moment that keeps coming back to haunt me because I want to tell people what it feels like, and when I find those words I'm sure that we'll express it somehow for everyone.
What's going on with Rogan Josh now, Wendy?
I understand Rogan Josh, well I do know that Rogan Josh is up at Leilani with Bart, and there's an intention to bring him back for the Doomben Cup.
Will he come back for the Melbourne Cup?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Now, you've got to tell us a little bit about that journey you made back, because you drove back, of course, to Darwin with the Melbourne Cup in the boot. What was that like?
It's probably the most extraordinary experience of my life, and I think for a lot of Australians the Melbourne Cup became a reality. I think that a lot of people touched base this year, and after the Cup I had about 20,000 people have had a drink out of the Cup, I can say that. But that trip back, people knew we were coming and they looked for us all along the track, and all the old ringers and the old station owners and lots of our Indigenous friends came out and said, hey, are you the lady that won the Cup? And I'd said, would you like to have a drink? And we drank all the way back from Port Augusta, Glendambo, Marlborough, Tennant Creek, and people generally had stories to tell about their dads coming to Melbourne one year, or how they nearly got to Melbourne, or the floods were up and they would have liked to have been there that year. But particularly everyone had ridden a winner somewhere along the way. Some bloke told me he'd won 6 winners in Cairns, and I think that says it all about racing.
Well, isn't that fantastic? And that's part of the mystique of the Melbourne Cup. Now we're going over to WA, where you're living now. Anyone you'd like to say hello to, seeing you're all the way across the other side of the country?
I'd better say hello to all the the camp followers in Western Australia, but to all those good camp followers in Darwin, I think the cup still belongs to us up there. West Australia think it belongs to them, and they have a little bit of a claim.
Wendy, it's been an absolute delight to see you back here at Flemington. I really hope that I get the opportunity of talking to you on the first Tuesday in November here on Network 10.
Well, here's hoping, but thank you anyhow.
Thanks for coming
Peter.
back. Wendy Green, the part owner of Rogan Josh, truly delightful lady, and what a great story it was when Rogan Josh was successful in the Melbourne Cup last year. All right, a lot more to come here at Flemington over the next couple of hours, and of course we'll keep you up to date here on Network 10. Our next event is the big one, the AAMI Australian Cup. It's not too far away. In fact, it's round about 15 minutes or so away. So the big field is coming up, and here it is now on the tote. Intergaze at $6.60, Arena $6.20, Aerosmith $11.10, Oliver Twist number 5 is showing $6 even, Aramathiya 26, Zapor $7.60, Streak $50.40, The Hind $21.90, Royal Voyage $29, Collins Street $37.20, Inner Flurry $7.50, Laybeal $17.30, Noir Sear $23.90, and Crawl $13.60. So there you have the tote figures for the AAMI Australian Cup Race 7. $1.25 million in stakes, and candidates are coming into the mounting yard now, so we're going to shortly have a look at the horses. Alfie Matthews will be joining me, and we'll take a look at these runners prior to the big one of the day. As we said, $1.25 million, and the runners are now getting in here to the mounting yard in dribs and drabs, and we can see that the top weight is here, so we'll have a look at him. The mighty Intergaze, number 1. Craig Carmody is the rider, and the trainer is Rod Craig, looking for its 8th Group 1 victory. Second to Istadad last year in this race. Pretty good in the Ore, no luck in the St George. He's a definite chance, Alfie.
Yeah, look, his record speaks for itself, Peter. He's won that many Group 1 races. It's beyond a joke, to be honest with you. But look, the only thing that I perhaps don't like about this particular horse, he needs cover, and he's drawn very, very awkwardly. Now, Craig will be conscious of this. Even if the tempo's slow, he's still going to want to get cover, and I think it might bring about his downfall.
Number 2 is Arena. Darren Gauci, the rider for John Hawkes here at Flemington. They were unlucky in the first of our features today with Freemason. This horse looks magnificent, Arena, the Derby winner, of course, in '98. And he was hitting the line pretty strongly in the St George Stakes. I thought his performance was pretty good.
Actually, I thought it was outstanding. And here's another one that looks as if it's going to stud within the next 2 races that it has. But look, he's still a genuine chance in a race like this. He's drawn 4, so at least he's not going to be covering ground. Whether the race is run to suit or not remains to be seen. I don't think so. But nevertheless, he is a good horse.
I remember saying to someone in the press box at Sandown when number 3 Aerosmith won the Sandown Classic that weight for age horses win weight for age races, and he is certainly a weight for age horse. Super consistent, winner of the Sandown Classic last year. New Zealand form is sound. He has a chance in anything that he runs in.
Well, Peter, your comment is beautiful. Weight for age horses, they do win weight for age races because this horse is a dictator. He'll be in the first few and he'll dictate to so many runners in the race. That's what gives him a chance.
What about number 5, Oliver Twist? What a moment it would be for Brian Mayfield Smith to claim a Group 1 victory. Jimmy Cassidy is the rider, got home nicely to just fail in the St George. He's a quality galloper. He's really had the ideal lead up to this.
Yes, there was always one race in mind for this horse, and it was the Australian Cup. I think Brian has probably done an outstanding job timing his run, timing his preparation to absolute perfection. His form is just undoubtedly wonderful, and with Jimmy Cassidy in form, yeah, good chance. I think it'll win, actually.
Yeah, so do I. What about for rookie trainer of Aramathiya, number 6? And Michael Cale is the rider. We haven't been able to see Aramathiya just at the moment, so we'll come back to 6 and we'll go to number 7, Zapor. Brett Preble is the rider, and the trainer is David Hall here at Flemington. Queen Elizabeth winner here in the spring. Nice efforts at its 2 runs back. Wide gate's not a help though.
No, it's not, but have a look at him in the yard.
He is a magnificent animal, isn't he?
He is an adorable individual. I just love the horse. I'd love to see him win. Whether he can from barrier 16 remains to be seen. And look, I don't know what he's going to do, whether he goes forward, whether he goes back, whether he tries to ride for a bit of luck. It'll be interesting to see the instructions that he's actually given, Brett Preble.
What about the Moonee Valley Cup winner, number 8, Street, won the Cup under the lights last year. Jason Patton, the rider for Robert Smurden. Ran home hard at Caulfield, but probably is at its best with the sting out of the ground, I think.
Yeah, I think you've summed up perfectly there, Peter. His last start was good in the car line, 1,600 metres. I think Robert's deliberately or attempting to give him as much chance as possible over the 2,000 metres, but you would naturally think that he's better suited over a touch further as well.
Number 9 is the Hind, the rider Shane Dye. Peter Hayes, the trainer here at Flemington. This horse, I think, should have won the Melbourne Cup, bar for the interference that he copped. He ran on well first up in Adelaide. I just think maybe a little bit later on, because they are aiming him towards the Sydney Cup.
And I think they're also giving him a different campaign too, but if you reckon he should have won the Melbourne Cup, you should have seen him his last start.
Oh, really?
Because it should have won. And I think that's why they're jumping up as much as they are. He's eligible for these types of races, and he's a high-class horse if he performs.
And there's Peter Hayes in the background. Last-minute discussions with the rider Shane Dye. On to number 11, Morphy, trained by Bart Cummings. He's only won a dozen of these, Bart, so he needs to lift his game, really, when it comes to Australian Cups. Glenn Boss is the rider, and really impossible to have in its Launceston Cup run.
Yes, even with Bart Cummings, it's still pretty hard to have.
Number 12, Collins Street. Cliffy Brown, the trainer. Mark Flaherty is the rider. Will be running on, but this is a huge jump in class.
Yeah, you know, it surprises me sometimes. Look, I think the horse has got a lot of ability. He's won during the spring. His first up run was average, I think. Admittedly, the track was slow. He goes up to the 2,000 metres. Gee, you know, as you say, I think they're sort of jumping ahead of themselves.
13, In a Flurry. What a wonderful mare she is. Much better effort in the St George at her last run, and of course was third behind Sky Heights and Laybeal in the Caulfield Cup last year.
Being unsure of how the race is going to be run probably worries me about In a Flurry, because it's a horse that does genuinely need speed on. High-class mare, weight for age winner. I would love to see her do well, but a filly on a day like today, and particularly her style too, she tends to be in a bit of a flurry.
Yeah, don't worry, the fillies aren't the only ones in a flurry today. It's nice and warm here. Number 14, Laybeal, as we said, runner-up in the Caulfield Cup, now back in the care of Leon Corstens after being prepared for the Caulfield Cup by Johnny Sedler. Poleaxed in the Melbourne Cup, forget that run ever happened, and should be fitted for 2 runs back.
Yeah, 2 runs, but I just think the mile and a quarter, 2,000 metres, we keep saying the mile and a quarter and we shouldn't, but I think it's too short.
Number 15, Noir Sear, very talented mare this one, to be ridden by Matty Gatt for Mark Houlihan, will get back and run on, but this is her first try at 2,000.
Interesting thing about this particular horse, Narsquirt, it can actually sprint off a slow run race, which could possibly give it a chance. I don't think it's quite up to the class, but nevertheless, it wouldn't surprise me if the rough in the race.
And number 16, Crawl, down the bottom. This 3-year-old gelding in the John Hawkes yard is to be ridden by Larry Cassidy. Has run home pretty well at its past 2 and is not the roughest by any means.
This is the sort of horse that I would like to see actually take up the running. I think it'd be a genuine chance. High-class 3-year-old, very good horse.
What about your selections for the AAMI Australian Cup, Alf?
See, I don't know whether to go with Zapor or Oliver Twist. I'll go with Oliver Twist from Zapor, and I'll put in Crawl for 3rd.
And we're just going to have a look at Aramathiya, who, of course, was a little bit late coming into the mounting yard. As I said, rookie trainer Matthew Tremble, and he might be trembling a little bit being in the yard with some of the greats of the racing game. But this horse has got probably some sort of rough hope.
I can certainly concur. It'd be a little daunting for him out there at this point in time. But you're right, it has got a rough chance in the race.
Well, I agree with you. I've gone for Oliver Twist to beat Zapor in the Australian Cup and Aerosmith for 3rd. There's the map. They start over by the river at the 2,000 metre mark, and it'll be a tactical battle down to the first turn. Let's see what's been happening in the betting ring. Mark Aston.
Well, the most significant thing, Pete, is I have a new microphone, so everyone's happy about that. Oliver Twist, better than each way odds, still is the favourite. Intergaze, good money. You can still hear me okay? Great. Intergaze, second favourite, and there has been some money for Intergaze. Arena, Crawl, In a Flurry, all at double each way odds, and Zapor as well. There's been good money for Zapor. Aerosmith next best, and I can tell you good money for Laybeal at very good odds. That's the latest on the AAMI Australia Cup.
Runners are on their way to the stalls now for the big one of the day. Group 1, it was first run in 1863. Today it is run for the 138th time. The AAMI Australian Cup, the big one in the Carnival of Champions, and it's coming up live around Australia on Network 10 after this break.